and welcome to this very special YouTube exclusive edition of the Fake Racers podcast. As always, I'm Joe. Up above me, it's Davey.
It's me.
And
It
this
is Dave.
week, since we didn't have any racing this past weekend, we are going to do a tier maker video again because we are desperate for views, aren't we, Davey?
We are. We like views.
We
They're
do.
pretty good.
That's
And
why.
views are fun.
Yes, they are fun because there's
Yeah.
a lot of good discussions that we can have about a lot of these tracks, which you'll see all on the right-hand side. I believe Auto Club is not on here too, so that's another thing to take note of. This is all the 2021 NASCAR tracks. But if Auto Club was on there, it would definitely be in A tier, at least.
At least. I agree.
So let's just get that out of the way before we get a bunch of YouTube comments. Where's Auto Club? Where's Bowman Gray?
Auto Club's not on schedule, is where it's at. So it is what it is.
Thanks, California. Anyways, actually, thanks COVID, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about all these tracks. Make sure you comment down below or at us on Twitter at Davey Hazard and at JTN for me. Not because nothing gets going on there, but mainly Davey, because Davey's gonna probably have a lot of dumb takes that he wants to talk to you about. It wasn't a shot at you, Davey. It was just a statement. They're not gonna agree with you.
Yeah.
Maybe not dumb. Dumb wasn't the right word. Let me apologize for my wording. Not dumb.
Apology is not accepted, but
that's fine.
I will leave it on my desk for approval at a later date.
Okay. You won't accept it right now, but you'll accept it later. Once you can read over the full apology.
Yeah. I gotta come out with my magnifying glass and make sure that there's nothing in there, and then we can talk to my lawyer, and then maybe we can get a formal forgiveness.
Well, and like I said, guys, best way to help support us here at JTN on the Fake Racers podcast is to make sure you like the videos, you subscribe to our YouTube, you follow us on our socials. You can also, as Davey's perking up, I think he's trying to get me to notice, you can buy the JTN merch on the JTN merch store. The Davey's wearing the Toyota Camry t-shirt, Camry tee, with the JTN logo on that, because I do so good on those drawings, I like to say. I'd like to think.
I
think they're pretty good. And they're on...
Go ahead. No, you go.
I was going to say they're on the comfort shirts, so that way they have a little bit better print quality than a traditional, one of those traditional, like, Hanes cheaper t-shirts. So that way the print quality is better. That's why we chose those, just because, better quality for you, and you don't have the wear and tear. Because I'm assuming you've washed that a couple times now, Davey.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. And look, it still looks pretty good.
It's literally perfect still.
Yeah. So. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just saying. I bought this one because I drive a Toyota in the Saturday night United States Online Racing League Cup Series races that you can catch on JTN as well.
Which is off this weekend.
It's off this weekend
because they all have to make special paint schemes. Got to have a different car for every race for the rest of the season. But I digress. Is that a shot? I don't think that was a shot. It's good. Good to have sponsorship. Good to have sponsorship.
They know they're mostly a painters league, so they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
All right, let's get this show on the road then, Davey. Let's start with everybody's favorite, the Monster Mile, located in Dover, Delaware, I believe.
Okay, so first of all, let me be very clear here. A nickname that's as cool as the Monster Mile deserves at least C tier, so we cannot drop this into D tier.
Well, I don't think the racing's been bad enough to drop it in D tier. There's going to be a track in here that's going to be D tier for sure.
Oh.
And maybe multiple. Probably not, but maybe.
Possibly.
But I already know one that'll be D tier, and you'll have to wait to see that. But Dover has Jimmy Johnson, I believe, is the all-time leading winner there. And then Richard Petty right behind him.
Use code JTN on Circle B diecasts, and you can get a Jimmy Johnson 2015 Dover Race to Win diecast like I have. Thank you, Weaver, for the gift.
Wait, do they still have those?
I don't know if they do.
Oh, well, probably not. But he said it. You can get Jimmy Johnson's IndyCar diecast.
That's available. That's available. Or you can get any other Dover win. I know who wins at Dover now. A bunch of people, right?
Kyle Larson. Last year it was Harvick and Hamlin.
Get yourself a Denny Hamlin diecast. Denny Hamlin's the People's Champion this year on Twitter. So
but,
go ahead and get you one. But anyway, Dover. Yo, I worked in a whole advertisement. You didn't even want to do that, and I
No,
did.
I'd take it. I just didn't want to do the whole segment like we normally do. I wanted to be a little more laid back this week.
Hey, look at me. Look at me. I like Dover. I like Dover a lot. I love that Dover is unique, and that's really high points. A lot of points for me is that it's very unique. You know, I can't think of anything. I mean, what else races there other than NASCAR? Like you can't. It's just not. There's nothing that can go to Dover. It's a uniquely NASCAR speedway. I friggin' love it. It's
Hmm.
awesome.
Concrete. I know people. There's a big argument about concrete versus asphalt.
Hmm.
Especially with Bristol, which it looks like we'll be getting to in a second here. But Dover is just like you said, it's unique, right? It's a mile track. You got huge G's in the corners. Think about all the iconic moments, because we don't overuse that word as a society enough. Joey Logano flipping down the back or down the turn.
First one I thought of, man.
Tony Stewart getting his second to last win at Dover. I believe he beat Montoya that day.
Yeah.
All of Jimmy's Johnson's last career win at Dover.
Tony Stewart and Kurt Busch get into it in 2007 at Dover. That was fun. There's even an Xfinity race and stuff. That's awesome.
But racing there across all the series hasn't been great in recent years. Cup Series, I throw that a lot to the Arrow and whatnot. I think last year's races were a little bit better than when we had the big spoiler. But I still don't think they were enough to even probably put them up. Rule out S and A, right? Rule out those two because those are top tier tracks.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion, I know you said you can't give it any lower than a C, so I would give it a C. It's unique. It's got a cool name. Probably it'll end up being at the top of C by the end of this thing, but I can't put it too high in B. So I mean, I can put it in bottom of B. I can't put it.
I say let's put it in B, and then we'll reevaluate because I really like Dover.
Okay.
And I also I take into effect a little bit on like obviously I haven't driven at Dover, but like how I imagine it drives via my little experience and what I see. And I mean the drop off into the corner and then the lift off on exit. It's just such a cool, unique track. I mean, it's tough because I agree with you that the racing has been great, and that's a detractor. It's a big detractor. Put it at the top of C. I think it's the very top of C though, if it's in C.
We'll leave it in B for now. But I'm not. I will not put. Oh, Davey's got to change his thing. I think I had him convinced, but then he had me convinced. So we're kind of doing this little dance. We don't like to argue with each other unless we're really passionate. Let's move on. Atlanta Motor Speedway. This one's an A, right?
At least A.
I wouldn't put it in S.
It's got everything you want. I think maybe Atlanta circa 2010 to like 2013 was S because I really like the racing there. There's the iconic Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, iconic again. That battle is like legendary in my opinion. That's S tier racing, but I guess I agree. I'd say A. That's a pretty straightforward one. A for Atlanta.
A for Atlanta.
Okay,
Rolls off the tongue. All right, Bristol Dirt Race. Bristol Dirt Track. We just saw that a couple weeks ago.
Got a
mixed reaction.
Shallow sample size on this one.
Shallow sample size. But I think we talked about it, right? For what it was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. For what it was.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about NASCAR probably needing more time to perfect this. This is why I'm glad they're going to retry the experiment next year. If it's a failure next year, you don't do it again.
Exactly. You're done with that experiment. I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
Because you had weather derail and whatnot. I would put it has to be below, and we'll talk about it next. It has to be below, or we can just group it in here. It has to be below normal Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it was as good as Atlanta.
No, it was not.
But I definitely think it's better than Dover.
Ooh, it's an interesting take.
Because I think that race, and we talk about the track, you had tire wear, even if it was stupid, we had to throw competition cautions every 50 laps, whatever you want. Oh, NASCAR's egg on their face, whatever. You had tire wear, and you saw that drivers still had to manage the tire wear, even though we only did 50 laps. Because you saw comers and goers during a run and during the race. So it has that. Was the product maybe, true dirt racing? No. I don't think you should have expected it to be.
Yeah, if you were expecting that,
Your
you
expectations
weren't
were
doing it
too
right.
high.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But now going into next year, you have to kind of realize what we're looking at.
Yeah. I think somewhere in B tier is where this lies.
Yeah.
Just ahead of Dover, possibly.
I would put it ahead of Dover because I was arguing Dover C tier, so I gotta put it ahead of Dover. I thought it was good.
I know what you mean.
It was unique.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, so then we move on to normal Bristol. Sorry, Davey.
Indeed. No, we're good. Normal Bristol.
S.
S. I mean, it's the short track. It's the short track. It's right next to Martinsville as the short track of NASCAR. Everyone wants to win at Bristol. The Bristol night race, the second Bristol race, the night race. Everyone wants to win that race. As far as quote unquote non-crown jewel races go in NASCAR,
even though it is
Bristol is, even though I think it is, I agree. But like as far as like the races in the Daytona 500 or the Coke 600 or the All-Star race, blah 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 blah. Bristol is the one everyone wants to win, right? So the drivers love it, the fans love it. It's historical. It's etched in NASCAR history. Pop culture, at least NASCAR pop culture. It's easily the most popular track. So regardless of what you think of, NASCAR ruined it, it's a fantastic track. S tier, 100%.
Plus, I mean, when you name a dog after it, it's...
Jesus. Where is he? Where's Bristol?
It's hot here. It's like 80 degrees, so he's sitting out in like the living room where the windows are wide open, breeze can blow through. Okay. Yeah, it's a little stuffy in here, but we'll make do.
Gotcha.
He's producing off-site today.
Gotcha. He's in his office. I get you.
Right. Exactly. Okay. But like you said, Bristol Night Race is a fantastic show every year. Everyone keeps knocking the spring race. I don't know why, because the spring race has been good the last few years too. You say that. Okay, this was something I was thinking about today, and I was cooking it up, and I was trying to figure out, and this is where I'm going to go with it. Everyone wants these quote-unquote memorable moments, and that's what makes a good race. When did we go from, we have to have a photo finish at the end of the race to be a good race, from, we want tire wear, passes for the lead, parity during the race? When did we go from that? Because now it seems, Kentucky sucks. Kentucky sucks because the finishes aren't memorable. There were good Kentucky races. Maybe after the repave, not so much. But there were good Kentucky... Yeah. Okay, that was the bad example. There were good Michigan races.
Kentucky was a bad example.
There were good Michigan races. Let's start there.
The Bristol spring races haven't been bad. I don't think they've necessarily been good
not memorable.
either.
Let me not... Hold on. Let me rattle off the finishes from the last two. Last year we had Chase Elliott, Joey Logano being boneheads trying to win that spring race. The year before we had Kurt Busch versus Kyle Busch, where Kyle was missing the whole rear end of his race car. A year before that, I believe Blaney wrecked out in the lead, and then that threw the whole race into disarray. I think he did that last year too. He's done it a couple times. 2018, you had Bubba Wallace leading, or no, that was 2017. 2017, you had Bubba Wallace up front leading that race. The reason why we knock it is, it gets rain delayed. Why? No?
No, that's not why I knock it.
Why do you knock it?
It's just not. I mean, are you gonna sit here and tell me that it's better than the? Oh god, now I gotta buy diecast.
Oh, you said it. I gotta bleep.
Now I gotta buy diecast. I gotta buy it. I haven't.
Got him.
In the tier maker episode.
Use code JTN at checkout at CircleBdiecast.com for free shipping on your order of $20 or more, like Davey Hazard will be doing later tonight.
Dang it. Okay, I actually will too. I'm gonna.
I'm gonna get proof of purchase. I mean.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm gonna do it. You can't sit there and tell me that like it's not as it's as good as the fall race at
That's
Bristol,
not what I'm saying though.
Because the Bristol night race is always really good, and then you go to the spring race, it's just like the spring race. I don't think that makes it good. It's not good. It's not great. It's
No.
not. It's not bad. The spring.
Everyone
You
acts like
sitting
it's
here saying, "Oh, it's so memorable. All these moments."
no. That's
Bubba
not.
Wallace led it for a little
That's
bit.
not what I'm saying. I'm
That's
saying
what you
I
said.
no. I'm saying they're good. Not saying
Kyle Busch didn't have his
I'm
rear
not.
bumper.
I'm not saying they're as good as they're not. The night race is great. You have great, you have good, you have bad, you have terrible. If you want,
But he doesn't have his rear bumper.
okay, shut up, Davey. My point is that it's stupid that we as fans have gone to say, oh, if there isn't some memorable moment during a race, it's a bad race. You're telling me Martin Truex Jr. leading 512 miles of a 600-mile race. That's not memorable. That's not good. That's not a good race. That's a good race. It's just not a competitive race. Are we saying that a good race has to be competitive? Are we like we're there's this moving target that we've set up for NASCAR when they're making all their decisions.
Yeah, but now you're just playing with the definition of the word good. I'm not saying you're doing that as in like. I'm not saying you're doing, but no.
That's my point. That's my point.
People have different definitions of the word good. No one's moving anything. People just have different definitions of it.
Okay, well then, if people with this definition
Why
are
are we
louder than this other
arguing?
person,
Bristol is S tier. Just forget about it. Good lord.
because I'm sick and tired of people saying the spring race sucks.
Spring race sucks, and the fall race is awesome, but it makes up for
just
it.
because one's good doesn't mean the other has to be bad.
Correct. That is exactly what it means. Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ooh, you know this one's
C.
tough.
I just
This
put it in
one's-
C.
This one's C. Charlotte C. I guess as of like late.
Yeah.
But Charlotte,
I'll put it in B. I mean, I'll put it behind Dover.
I think behind Dover is fair because there's so many things that happen at Charlotte, and Charlotte is, where NASCAR is. Charlotte has, again, iconic, it's got iconic moments in NASCAR history, which I think add to the appeal of a track. I think that makes the track good. We're not rating how competitive they are, as you just said. And then, I think it hosted the All-Star race, which has had its own share of pulp culture, NASCAR, pizzazz around it, and it's.
Pizzazz.
I think Charlotte's a fine racetrack.
Yeah,
it's a fine racetrack.
I was just overreacting.
I think B is good.
I gotta get the clickbait, Davey. I gotta get the clickbait.
There have been some really stinker Charlotte races. I'm not gonna deny that, but I think Charlotte's a fine track. There's a lot of history. I think that's important to grade a track as well as what it's done for NASCAR, and Charlotte's done a lot.
Yeah.
I argue bottom of B, but if you would like to put it in C, I'll
put it bottom of B. You're not wrong. Coke 600 is one of the biggest races. It's the longest race. One of the biggest races of the year. It's a good racetrack. I was just trying to stir the pot, but you
wanted to end up on that Reddit thread.
Yeah, you couldn't. Oh, what NASCAR YouTubers are over the shark? Jump the shark! How does someone jump the shark if it's not sequential episodes? That's what I was. Whatever. I digress. Our NASCAR, but our boy Tommy had the top post on there, so
yeah, he did.
He did. 57 Kyle Larson, baby. Charlotte Roval. I'm not gonna argue with you there. A.
Yeah.
Or even bottom of A.
It's been behind Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it's been Charlotte Roval as much as it broke my heart in the first iteration of it. What a great race.
I had that diecast on the wall over here. I should have rubbed it in your face again. Yeah, it's been a good race. Even the Xfinity race last year in the rain was stupid, but it was fun.
Exactly.
But this is where we're gonna have to toe a line. Crashes and stupidity and the track not being made for stock cars in a lot of ways. How tight it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we want to promote? Or is that something we want to say, hey, maybe we should have a road course designed for stock cars? Not to say that Charlotte is like completely not, because it was designed with NASCAR in mind specifically, right?
I know what you mean. I know what you
You
mean.
get what I'm saying?
The design doesn't lend itself to stock car racing,
Right.
and I don't. I mean, the Cup race this past year wasn't a wreckfest by any means, and even really
No.
the year prior to that, it wasn't that bad. It had its fair share of moments in the inaugural, but that's going to happen. It's a new track, and the configuration was different as well.
Well, then
Um,
2019 didn't Chase like go into the barrier, and then or was that last year?
that was 2019 where he nosed in the barrier
Yeah,
and then came through
still
the
won
field
the
and did his
race.
burnout over there. Like it's already provided,
Moments.
those moments, and
Hmm.
very quickly, and it's again, it's becoming an important track, and now I think the Roval is going to be here to stay for a very, very long time.
Oh yeah,
I think it's for sure here to stay. It's one of Charlotte's things. It's awesome.
and
A-tier, man.
you're not gonna see it at any other oval complex because they've kind of been like, hey, we want to be the only one.
Mhm.
And before people start shouting, oh, the Daytona road course is different, and we'll talk about that because I have opinions.
Mhm.
Circuit of the Americas. I'm gonna just I don't know at this point.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't been thrilled by the Grand Prix or the IndyCar race there. There's only one, I believe. Two?
I think there was one Indy. I
Okay.
think.
I
Or
wasn't
maybe
thrilled.
two.
I wasn't thrilled by
Mhm.
them. Not to say that the complex is bad, but that's what I'm going off of. I don't want to put it in D because that's not fair to it, especially because we haven't seen a race there.
Mhm.
Um, NASCAR, but I mean, they were okay races. Colton Herta, I know, won the car race. I don't know who won the F1
I
races, but
think if we have to grade it off of what we have, and that's the circuit of the Americas, if that's the circuit, if that's the the facilities, um, yeah, it's definitely not fair to put it in D because it's a world class facility. There's no other way around it. NASCAR going there is a big deal. Or is it going to be a good race? We have no idea, but it is a big deal. You can't say it's not. I mean,
this one is one
I
I want
also
to put in C.
yeah, and plus on top, like I haven't heard any drivers talk about it. They're asked about Bristol dirt, Nashville because Nashville, and then All Star race at Texas, I guess
I
maybe.
haven't heard anyone talk about that, so
I mean, I've heard little bits and pieces, but only because it's the All Star race, not because it's at Texas. And no driver has expressed anything about it. I have no idea what to expect. There's nothing. There's
mm,
nothing to go off of. Facilities alone, call it a C for now. Um,
for wait and see.
Jesus, that was not good.
I was thinking about that one all the time you were talking. I'm like, I
That was
can't let
not
this one.
good. That was not good. I should have just kept talking.
You should have. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're
well,
not.
I
Yeah,
didn't see.
put it in C. All right, Darlington S.
S, S, S. There's what more can you say?
Ahead
What
of
more
Bristol or
can you
behind
say?
Bristol?
Oh, 100% ahead of Bristol.
Okay, yeah.
I think so. I mean,
I like it. You can't
what
even
a
see the logo because it's a
yes.
PNG. That's Darlington right there, folks.
Yeah, baby. No,
Um,
I mean, what can you say?
mhm,
What can you say about Dover? It's just Dover. Unique,
yeah.
staple on the circuit. The traditional time of the year that it's ran. It's got a
You
old
mean
NASCAR
Darlington
feel. Yeah,
at
Darlington.
Dover?
All the D words. It's hard because I'm looking at all the tracks except for Darlington on my screen right now.
The Dover one kind of
Darlington.
has the same issue going with the flag, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like it's got everything going for it. History, good races. You know, it's got the throwback weekend associated with it now, which I don't care what people say. It's not. It's not getting old for me. I freaking love it. I love how the broadcasters get in on it. It's just
I'm excited to see what Fox does this year with it.
it's becoming. I know it's becoming fun. It's NASCAR at its funnest. Fun, most fun.
At its
I don't want
best.
to say most fun. Most fun is lame, but NASCAR at its most fun is technically correct.
Yeah. I'm still salty that Michigan lost a date because this is the track I attribute that to. Um Not to say that it's not an upgrade for the schedule as a whole, but it goes
Mhm.
back to my argument about, hey, we do two races at one complex, all of a sudden those two races they don't meet. They're not, that second race isn't necessarily as good as when we only had the one race. See Las Vegas. People used to rant and rave about Las Vegas, and all of a sudden we got 2 races, and oh, I hate Las Vegas. It's just a mile and a half, even though it's a little more
Which is unique. Ridiculous to me. Vegas is actually kind of good.
Yeah, well,
I like Vegas.
But it runs into that problem. Or at least I hope it does. I hope it doesn't run into that problem. I mean, we ran 3 races there last year, and I think they were all good races, so that's good. But yeah, it's S because you have tire wear. It's historic. It's a crown jewel. Got a crown jewel race. Got 2 races now. It should have never lost the one first place.
Excuse me.
Like you said, it's Darlington, right? I can't. You rip the wall. You can drive around the bottom. You got multiple lanes that guys can choose. Not to say that one isn't faster than the other, but you still have a choice. At least a lot more than some of these other tracks, but it's S.
Yeah, drivers love it. That's a big deal for me. I love when the drivers love a racetrack.
All right, Daytona. You want to do the road course first?
We'll do the oval.
Okay, well that one's an S.
I guess I gotta agree.
Daytona 500, regular season finale.
Yeah. What more can you say? And the racing, whatever you think about the racing, or if you call it "quote unquote" racing, whatever you think about it, you cannot deny that it's exciting because it is exciting.
I wouldn't put it ahead of the other 2 tracks we have there.
I agree.
But Daytona 500, and that's the thing. Like, I want to distinguish between this race versus like the historic. Like when we did Charlotte, I really want to distinguish between the Coke 600 being a big event, World 600. Excuse me, let me say the proper name. Only 70s kids will understand.
Dude, you're stupid.
Hey, here I am. Distinguish between the historic value of the race and the track, but Daytona, it's a good race even in July. It's still Daytona, still the birthplace of speed. It's it's still
August now, not July.
Well, for 1 year it's been. I think I get a pass.
Fair enough. I'll give it to you.
But it has that added value now too, and that added intensity with it regular season finale. So yeah. Daytona Road Course. You've been there in person, so I'll let you go first.
The Daytona Road Course, I thought, so I'm going to start with the race that I wasn't there for, the one this year. I thought that race was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a good watch. Didn't mind it. Wasn't as good for the Cup cars as the Charlotte Roval, in my opinion. The one I was there for, everyone said was a really bad race, which I understand because I watched. Yeah, which I understand because I watched back some of the broadcasts on NBC, and the broadcast didn't do the race justice, and there was the spoiler that didn't help the racing for sure. But I had a great time watching the Cup race, and a lot of people that watched it on TV said the truck race was better than the Cup race. I could not disagree more. In person, the Cup race was miles ahead of the truck race. It was absolutely fantastic. Cars were sliding all over the place. The drivers were really getting after it, even though they didn't have practice and they were trying to still find their braking zones. Like, they're still getting after it, and it was exciting and it was fun. I stayed the whole time, got sunburned all over me, and I enjoyed every bit of it. So, that said, I know Joe doesn't have the same experience as me. I would put this. I think it should go top of C tier personally, because I know that the racing doesn't lend itself to Cup cars. The truck race, in my opinion, the truck race last year was brutal to watch. Actually, no, screw that. The Xfinity race this year was absolutely incredible too. So I'm gonna stick it in the middle of B ahead of Dover. Actually, changed my mind in the middle of it.
You just made me sad.
Changed my mind in the middle.
I don't like it. I don't think. I think this year we kind of had that caution late that kind of jumped up. That doesn't make the track better. I look back at last year's race with no practice and no experience on the track, and big spoiler and all. Wasn't great. Xfinity races are always going to be better. Just with the current Cup versus Xfinity car. until we get this new car, which being announced May 5th.
Big news.
We'll have to do an episode that night, but
we will.
But I want to put it at the top of C tier,
I can do that.
or
I
at the
can
bottom.
flex
I would
it there.
put it at the back of B, or the top of C. So that's your choice.
Flex top of C. Top of C.
Top of
Give
C.
it top of C.
All right. Then we
Give
have
it top.
Daytona again.
Don't know why.
I'm just gonna put it up there in S. It's just behind the other Daytona, whatever
Fair
that
enough.
means. I guess it's probably the track from Daytona, USA, or something.
Yeah, probably. Pretty
S.
good track last year. Yeah.
Go. Homestead, Miami Speedway.
Homestead, Miami. Ooh.
Never should have took the championship away, but you've heard thousands of people say that, so you don't even
Tasty,
hear me
tasty,
say it.
tasty.
Look at
This one is a bubble for S. I think it's on the bubble. I think top of A is more than fair.
It doesn't have the historical significance that goes along with it. So that's
Correct.
a knock from S to A, but it's better than Atlanta, in my opinion, right now.
Right now, 100%.
And it's still put on a good race, even with the quote unquote crappy package.
Yep. Despite it.
So, I mean, what more can you say about Homestead? Again, multiple grooves, multiple lines you can run. You can run up against the wall. You can run on the bottom, in the middle, blow a tire.
Just a fun racetrack. Again, drivers love it. I mean, always a good race. Xfinity Series, obviously, the Xfinity Series is always going to be better. But wow, the Xfinity races are so freaking good there.
Yeah, I'll go top of A.
I can agree with that.
I think we kind of have to reserve S for like those real, like your Michigans of the world.
We'll get there. We'll get to that.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's two ways we can talk about this one.
Yeah. This one's a little.
Obviously, we're going to the road course this year. My opinion is the Brickyard 400 should just be run on the oval in general.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But I know the road course will probably give a better product with the way things are currently, because look at the Xfinity race last year. It's Indianapolis. Honestly, I don't think the Brickyard 400s are as bad as everyone says. They're not great. They're not some of those they're not even like Coke 600 levels. Good. But I think it's got more historical significance in the track itself, the facility. I would put it back of B, top of C.
Wow, we're actually closer on that than I thought we would have been.
Yeah, I think the road course is going to be phenomenal this year. I'm really considering going.
You should. Go.
I should.
Go.
It'd be a drive, but I think it would be a lot of fun to go to, and I think it's going to be a good race on both days. And I don't recall if they're doing IndyCar there too again, with the Xfinity cars. I can't recall if that's the case, but I don't think they are. But if
you
they
should go.
Yeah.
You should go. I support you going. That'd be awesome. And then I can agree with top of C for the oval.
What were you going to put it as?
Around there, bottom of B, top of C.
Yeah. Then for the road course, that oval.
The oval. The road course, I think I'd put middle of B, only because we haven't seen it with the Cup cars.
Yeah. So I think back of B. I think that's fair. Right? Because that's about where I am with both layouts, honestly. Back of B.
Yeah. And like, the only reason I have trouble with this because it honestly, more or less, it's the same situation as we have with Circuit of the Americas. We just have one extra Xfinity race on the Brickyard Roval. So,
but I think just that historical significance is going to make it more important. I think by the end of the year, we'll say the Indy road course race was a bigger, more important race than the Circuit of the Americas race.
Okay. I agree with that. Bottom of B for me, then.
Okay, Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas. This is another track. Really falls on its face with two races. Those, early 2000s Kansas races. Not great, but good. Definitely B-tier races. Now we've kind of had a couple stink shows. Everyone's going to talk about Logano being able to hold off Harvick, even though Harvick was faster for 50 laps. But again,
not a good look. Not a good
not
look.
a good look. But a lot of that does have to be attributed to, throttle response and how if you're the lead guy, you can just hold your flat foot and the guy behind you kind of has to manipulate a little more. Anyways, I would put it based on some of the good races we've had, and there's been more poopers than good. I would still put it ahead of the Daytona Road Course.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was thinking behind Charlotte, but ahead of Daytona Road Course.
I can't put it in B.
Fair.
I look at the races in B, and I look at there's unique tracks. There's historical significance with some of them.
This is fair.
There's nothing. Oh, Kansas has a casino.
Yeah,
Oh, bro.
Fair.
Lovely Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This one, I think you could argue it's obviously ahead of Kansas. I think it's a better track. I think it's been a better facility. We've had better races, more memorable races. That's what your criteria is.
But
But
I think also, in my opinion, this might be a lame opinion. I think the fact that we have the track in Vegas, that's a big deal. I think that adds to it. It's a cool locale,
It's not 10 hours outside of Vegas City, and then we're still gonna call it. What track was I poking fun at there?
I don't know.
I don't think I was.
10 hours, but
I wasn't poking fun at Nashville, if that was the thought.
no, because Nashville isn't so far away. I honestly, I always think of Atlanta because Atlanta's not really that close to Atlanta, at all. It's like an hour out of Atlanta,
which is a long hour on those freeways if they're busy.
And they usually are. I drove by Atlanta Motor Speedway at one point, and I was going to Atlanta, and I was like, still an hour left on my GPS. But yeah, I know what you mean. But yes, cool locale. It's actually like relatively close to Vegas. It's not out in the middle of nowhere.
I would put it's got to be somewhere in B. Had better races, better than Kansas. Really, I think is the marker B tier right now. But I can't put it ahead of Dover. I don't think I can put it ahead of Charlotte. I don't think I can put.
I think you can put it ahead of Indy.
You think?
I think so.
Convince me. Tire wear. Cool restarts. Like we're 6 wide on restarts. That's pretty cool.
I mean, people haven't complained about Las Vegas so much that we've gone to the Roval for it.
That was a good that wins. All right, Vegas ahead of
Indy. Even though when I think back to Indy, if people who are looking for memorable like whoa moments, there's so many of them at Indy. Like when you think about it,
Casey Kane's last career victory.
Casey Kane's that whole finishing sequence. Jimmy Johnson is blowing his motor, making it 3 wide down the backstretch. I've never been more proud as a Jimmy Johnson. I don't care that he didn't win. It's the coolest moment ever. Juan Pablo Montoya speeding on pit road that one year. That was a big moment. Wow. Yeah.
Goodyear not being able to build a tire for the COT at the track. That was a big moment. That's what killed it, in my opinion.
After that, the opinion changed
very, very quickly. Do you want to know why Do you know why that is, though?
Why?
Because Indianapolis, the way they pay
it's the surface. It's the surface.
It's like you're like when you're driving down the freeway in like a big city and it has all the grooves cut into it.
Yeah.
That's how the surface is at Indianapolis.
Yeah. I have heard and seen that. That's is what it is.
Race car.
Is what it is. Is what it is, man.
It's fun.
It is. I think I thinking about it now, there are a lot of fun Indy races, but alas,
Las Vegas head
is what it is.
Martinsville.
Las Vegas head of
the short track.
S tier.
I would put it behind Daytona.
What?
Yeah.
Why? How? Why?
Give me a second. I don't know. There's just been sometimes Martinsville has poopy races.
Martinsville, historical.
Yeah.
Drivers love it.
Yeah.
The short track.
Yep.
It is the short track.
That's what it says in the title.
Bristol is the short track. Martinsville is the short track. Martinsville is the short track. It's just and in my opinion, it's also kind of unique. It's got the curbing on the inside.
It's the paperclip. Let's put dirt on it. It would work. It was a dirt track, and it's flat, so it would work.
It would technically work, but no. Give Martinsville a third date, and we'll talk about it. I don't want to make you do something you don't want to do.
I can't put it ahead of Bristol. That's where I draw the line.
Ooh,
I can't put it ahead of Bristol. But I wanted to put it behind Daytona to start. So
I will put it behind Bristol, only because Martinsville, as much as it's a good short track in my opinion, we really haven't seen. Like, if you look in the past, there's not really like a backlog of great races like Bristol has a backlog of great races from the past. So I can agree with you there.
Daytona always puts on a great race, and that was my main argument. But I can agree with you. All right, my favorite track, kind of, Michigan International Speedway. Where would you put it, Davey?
I like Michigan.
It's unique.
Very fast, very wide, puts on good races, always fuel mileage almost, but still very exciting.
Repave and package and format race changes race format changes, words, haven't done this track justice.
No, they have not. I like Michigan. A lot of people poopy on Michigan because it's a 2-mile oval and it's wide, and people for some reason really don't like 2-mile wide ovals until they get really bumpy and then throw like 4 or 5 good races.
It's crazy how people just, are like, oh, tracks suck. One bad race.
People's opinion on Auto Club, when it started having like a couple good races, flipped in an instant.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. And I think Michigan has the capability to do that. It's basically the same freaking track.
I think the banking's a little bit steeper. But it's...
I don't mind that.
But here's the thing.
It's just cool and it's wide. Like, I have a bias towards wide racetracks because I love giving drivers the option, Yeah.
And I think that's, once this track weather's in a little bit better, I think that once we get away from putting sticky stuff on the track, once, a lot of stuff that can happen. Another thing is Goodyear just keeps building really, really good tires, not good racing tires,
but just too good of tires.
Exactly. There's not, because they're so worried, because they look back at Indianapolis in 2008 and they say, oh crap, this is literally something that is shown in engineering classes. Hey, that's me. In their 100 level classes about, hey, you didn't do enough testing. This is why you need to test. But, true story, by the way. I was sitting up there, top row, Davey. I know it's getting off track. I was sitting top row back to Indianapolis. I was raising my hand. Oh, I know what happened. Didn't get called on. Whatever. I don't know exactly what happened. They brought a brand new race car. They didn't test enough. The track is notoriously hard on tires. But, don't call them the kid up at the top. Anyways.
I mean, to be fair, Formula One had the same issue.
Exactly.
In the early 2000s, so it's just a common thing at Indy to not test the tires.
Apparently. Yeah, didn't they have like 2 cars on the grid or something?
It was a 6-car grid. The Ferraris and then 2 back markers. Or the Ferraris and 2 back marker teams is what I meant to say. Yeah. But regardless, Michigan, I
has to be ahead of Kansas.
It's ahead of Kansas. You're gonna hate me. I'm not sure if it's ahead of Dover.
Oh, it's definitely not ahead of Dover.
Oh, okay.
I think the racing's better in person, but you did the same thing with the Daytona Road Course, and you left it in C. So, I think this unique track, I would put it ahead of Las Vegas. I can't put it ahead of Charlotte just because of the Coke 600.
That's a fair assessment. I'm doing it right now. Just ahead of Vegas.
I got Michigan into the B tier, baby. Let's go. Moving on up in the world.
All right.
The Nashville Super Speedway put on some good races in the early 2000s before we dropped it from the schedule completely. Kind of falls into the same trap. We haven't seen it in a while.
Yep.
Is this boring to you, Davey? Is that why you're yawning?
No.
You're tired.
Long day at work.
Long day. Went for a bike ride or a run or.
Went for a bike ride and did a short arm workout. Still getting fit for karting.
Gains. Oh yeah. Some of us are still trying to get fit for life. I digress. The Nashville Super Speedway. I think it has to be in C because we've already set the precedent that if we don't have enough on it, but it's also in this weird place where we have had races on it. It's just, have you seen pictures of what the facility looks like right now?
I haven't. Is it bad?
It looks like a racetrack that hasn't been raced at in a while.
When are we going there this season?
End of June. Middle of June? June 18th? Something like that. Yeah.
We got work to do. What the heck?
Oh, it'll be up and it's because it's finally starting to get warm, but
I know, but still.
Yeah, I kind of worry about it, but I think it's a unique track. It's had good races in the past. Had moments, Kyle Busch smashing the guitar. That's something to remember.
Oh,
I want to punch that man in the face so hard. You know how much.
We just had totally different opinions on it, and that's hilarious. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
Sam Bass worked so hard on that guitar, man. Anyways.
Cool, we gave it to Kyle Busch. It's Kyle Busch's.
That's true. Kyle Busch won the race. Next stop, smash the Harley J. Earl Trophy. Anyways.
Do you know how much I would love him if he smashed the Harley J. Earl Trophy?
Just spikes it.
He's got like the
original one,
huge one on the stand with all the names. And he's just like push.
Like a little kid, as Brexton come up and just push it.
Brexton, go pee on it. You know how funny that would be. It would be awful, but
it would be funny though.
I think we put it.
I would put it ahead of Kansas.
Think so?
Yeah.
I didn't really like the last few years of it in Xfinity all too much.
Okay, would you put it ahead of Daytona Road Course?
You disagree. So we'll put it.
Where would you put it?
I'd put it just behind Daytona Road Course, next to Circuit of the Americas.
But I would put it ahead of Kansas. So then averaging.
In front of Daytona Road Course.
Yep. You and your road courses. New Hampshire.
This is going to be a
lot of not good races in mid-teens.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple races have been good since, again, we've moved back to one date instead of two. Hey, look, my rule applies again. Isn't that crazy? Almost like Homestead's a really good race because we only go there once, too. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe, here's a crazy idea. I bet no one's thought of this before. Let's go to every track once and then fill in the rest of the schedule with short tracks. Let's go to short. We got more short tracks.
Oh, short tracks. Oh, yeah. I've never heard that idea before. More short tracks. Like where?
More short tracks on the schedule.
Like where? Do you have any? New Smyrna Speedway.
New Smyrna. Put back North Wilkesboro.
Oh, yep.
Myrtle Beach.
Oh, yes. That one doesn't even.
Lanier.
Go run around the new neighborhood that's at Myrtle Beach.
Thompson.
More short tracks.
Except you probably run the road course at Thompson at this point.
Sobo,
anyway.
you could probably do though. Really tried.
Ryan Priest said something about how he would love to take the Cup cars to Sobo, and everyone on Reddit was mad at him about it. I was like,
why?
I mean, it would be fun. What the heck?
Why are they mad? And Pocono owns that track, so like in theory, you could put a date there if the necessary updates to the facilities were made.
That's actually such a based idea. Anyway, New Hampshire.
Anyways, another northeastern racetrack.
Woo! New England racetracks. New England racing culture, man. That gives New Hampshire a bump for me because you're hitting a demographic of people who absolutely adore asphalt oval racing. Shares the weekend with the modifieds, and let me tell you, everyone when they go up, every driver when they go up in the Northeast is looking for modified racing to watch, and it's usually in New Hampshire. Does that make it a great racetrack? No.
We've had good races the last couple years.
We have good races. I'm saying this from a place of I love New Hampshire. I love watching New Hampshire. My parents went to New Hampshire before I was born a lot. Holds a special place in my heart because New England racing. It's what my dad did. My grandfather did. You know, it's tough. It's tough because it did have really bad races for a long time. Where would you put it, Joe?
I would put it back a B.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that all day. I
Where are
was
you gonna
like,
put it?
I don't disagree with that. I would have probably said somewhere like, honestly, that's probably pretty accurate. I would have maybe like guessed you were gonna stick it somewhere in C, but back a B.
Oh, they've been good races the last
Woo!
couple years,
Let's go.
and
I'll
it
take
has
it all
had good
day.
races. I mean, we can say, "Oh, poo poo pee pee track sucks," all we want. There's a multitude of factors make
Hmm.
tracks bad that make tracks good. New Hampshire has been good the last couple years. I don't know why. I strongly think it's the whole we only race there once, so we don't have as big of a notebook, and we don't try as hard.
Hmm.
Because you run into this problem where you run and we'll talk about this with the next track, maybe a
This is
little
a
bit
good,
more in
great
depth.
point. Yeah.
Great segue. You run at a track once, and say it's in the playoffs, like New Hampshire was for all those years. All of a
Hmm.
sudden, that first race you run there becomes a test session, and it becomes a stinker of the race because half the guys aren't even trying because they know they're in the playoffs, or they know like half the guys that actually matter.
Yeah.
Not that everyone doesn't matter, but your
Excuse
Rick
me.
Ware
The main,
Racings
the
of the
main,
world, they have different objectives going into the weekend than your Hendrick Motorsports.
yeah, the main players. You know.
Yeah. So you run into that. Also, one other thing. Give a track one race, it'll most likely be pretty good. That's why I think Nashville will be pretty good this year. When it's an oval, and I don't think that same thing's true for road course because
Mhm.
road courses, not that all road courses are the same, but they're the same kind of fundamentals and driving style. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we
I guess
clump
I
them
get that.
in, but like ovals, there's like different driving styles for different ovals. I think a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think with road courses, the reason we see so many pretty good races at the road courses, the two road courses that we predominantly went to, is because the drivers were able to, over time, maximize their talent and their notebook at those tracks, their mental notebook. I mean, the driving notebook. The breaking points, where to turn in. The drivers got so good at it that it became second nature, and they were able to actually race. And I think the Daytona road course suffers a lot
Yep.
from that lack of knowledge. I feel like if we had practice sessions, that might be a better race for like tracks like the Daytona Road Course.
Hey, it's a good thing we have practice at Coda, and I believe we'll have practice at Road America and the Indy Road Course. So
Yes, yes.
good for them. But let's move on because this next track kind of illustrates the point. Phoenix Raceway. It's the new championship race. I wasn't blown away by last year's championship race. People probably said it was good because Chase won and whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Haven't been blown away by this track since they did the reconfiguration to move the start finish line, which is what
I was.
we need to model this after.
I know. I know.
'Cause if we had Kentucky on here, I couldn't talk about 2011, 2020 Kentucky.
Which those races I didn't like Kentucky at all. I didn't even really like those races, but they were not bad races.
They were better, exactly, and that's the distinction you need to be able to make. You can't just say, "Well, if it wasn't a great race, it was bad."
Yeah, I agree with that.
Again, Martin
But
Truex Jr. leading 512 miles of the Coca-Cola 600. That's like
yeah,
a historic thing. Good race.
yeah, Phoenix. I gotta say real quick,
Poo poo pee pee.
Phoenix after the repave, and then before they moved the start finish line, one of my favorite racetracks of all time. It's unique, and the big apron area was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. You came off the corner, and you know I don't know what it is about the start finish line being there, but it just ruins it for me.
I
It
think
ruins that.
it's the way the drivers kind of take that corner.
Yeah,
Because now you're trying to maximize when you get back on the throttle because you have the short distance line. Where
right.
before you were trying to maximize your end of straightaway speed, so maybe liberties with easier, being a little more aggressive going into the corner. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
now it seems like guys are a little more timid, which I could be completely wrong.
No, you're onto something there. You are onto something there. It does change things. it's just it ruins it. It totally ruins it for me. I don't know, and I think it's what you said.
PJ1.
PJ1 is atrocious. Get
If
it off
it's
the racetracks.
if it's
Good
a
lord.
championship race, we shouldn't have to change the track.
Oop.
Hey,
So new
seriously.
Phoenix, new Phoenix. I really gotta put in C tier. It just has
I would
not.
still put it ahead of Kansas,
I'd put it ahead of Kansas. I put it ahead of
but
Kansas.
it's not. It's not ahead of New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's not. And if we were, if it, I bet even if they hadn't done the start finish line thing and they did end up moving the championship race to Phoenix, I bet it would still be better racing than what we've gotten.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It just changes the whole,
it changes.
it changes how you look at the racetrack. It's just totally different.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't really make sense because it's still essentially the
it's
same
fair
racetrack,
though.
but
It's
it
fair.
changes things. It does change things.
Pocono, Tricky Triangle, unique racetrack, so that gives it a instant plus. It's been bad races. We kind of call this one like a road course.
Hmm.
3 unique turns, again unique racetrack.
Cool nickname.
Tricky Triangle. What turn 4?
What?
I think
This is one of those
had better
we're gonna
races than Indy.
has, and I think its uniqueness, I think, should propel it ahead of Las Vegas, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
Just because it's so unique, and there are moments at this racetrack. It's this racetrack comes out to bite you. When it bites hard. I mean, we've had some incidents at Pocono.
Yeah.
I think that adds to the how we were talking about. You know, it's etched in the NASCAR culture. Some of these moments at Pocono, Davey Allison flipping in '92. Steve Park and Dale Jr. doing a funny. Casey Kane cutting down a bunch of trees.
I was in the car during that. That was
Really?
crazy. Yeah, all of a sudden I heard Casey Kane's in the trees, and I'm like, okay, MRN.
What? Dude, with my little diecast cars, I recreated that crash so many times, like on my floor. Yeah.
Now you had the Elliott Sadler wreck there too that year or the following year. That was
Yep.
really bad. We also had.
And I know we're like talking about crashes, but those are moments in NASCAR history. Those are moments that are,
Jimmy Johnson. I believe
crashes are a part of it.
that's the crash that a lot of people attribute to him kind of losing his stuff.
Nonsense, but we'll go ahead.
I know. I actually read that article you commented on or liked or whatever today, like I did on his. I can't recall.
Yeah.
But
And there's a really good Twitter user who commented under that who's really good with like some of the more in-depth stats throughout the race, not just like top 5, top 10. He does a lot of like the passing
stuff.
stats and stuff like that. Avery Hage. I don't know why he doesn't follow me back because I'm always tweeting at him and stuff. But
you're always pumping him up. You're being his hype man.
Yeah, he doesn't even acknowledge I exist anyway. Whatever. He's a good follow. Give him a follow, but he's talking about some stuff like that. And anyway, go follow him. Little ad. Where do you put Pocono? I don't know where to put
Behind
Pocono.
Michigan, ahead of Las Vegas.
Really? Okay, good. That's kind of what I was thinking.
I think the races can be good. I look back at Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick battling a few years ago. That was fantastic. Got diecast right up there.
It's a great battle. I have it somewhere as well. No, where it went.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I got it. It's one of those that was signed by like Ryan Blaney and all the Wood brothers.
Oh,
but it's somewhere.
That's cool. Mine's not signed. So I got mine from Plan B Sales. Make sure you use code JTN to checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more.
I can't find. No, it's right here. Yeah, it's signed by all the Wood brothers and Ryan Blaney.
So
really cool.
But yeah, Pocono's unique racetrack, that gives it a big bump. I think it's had some good races. It's had stinkers, and also we have this doubleheader thing now that shortens the races, which I think helps.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one case where I think shortening the races helps. So yeah. Oh my god, Atlanta was so long this year. Shut up. Richmond. Right, it's got the old Richmond. Now just Richmond Raceway.
Yeah.
This one, Richmond's kind of been poopy.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Richmond is, it'll go a while not holding a good race, but it'll hold a really good race
And then
all of a sudden.
and then
then
you're
we
like,
go-
oh, it's a short track. Bam.
and then it holds a battery. It's like Richmond.
We have a Richmond race next weekend.
Woo, Richmond. Woo. I love Richmond, so I'm biased on this one.
I would put it.
I can't offer a real opinion.
I would put it because now we've kind of gotten to this point where there's kind of some different lanes too.
Yeah.
I would put it back at A.
Really?
Yeah. Why not?
I
think
really
it was better than
surprised.
Bristol Dirt. I really do.
I'm really surprised because the way you were talking about it, it's not like you're gonna stick it in like middle of B, bottom of B, but like
I thought about it, but I thought, nah.
I know this sounds like I'm trying to devalue Richmond, but let me be very clear here. I love Richmond. I love watching races at Richmond, even if the racing's not that good, because I just love the way the cars just heave down into turn 3. You know, back in the COT and the Gen 4, you'd get in the corner and you'd watch the front end of the car slam the ground on the braking, and it's awesome, and I love it. And you know, it's hard on the braking. Turn 1 is so much fun because the drivers are trying to haul in there, but also they can't because they're braking in a corner basically. It's a lot of fun to watch if you know what you're watching.
I don't know what I'm watching. I'm a 5-year-old.
That's weird. I'm doing a podcast with a 5-year-old. I'm gonna stick it back at A, like you said. Yeah. I'm just ecstatic because I love that racetrack, and I always see people talk crap about it because it doesn't put on super exciting.
All right, Road America, B tier.
B tier's good.
Middle
Where in B tier?
I think behind Pocono. It's too long.
What?
Too long. It's mainly the cautions, man. Those cautions. Oh my goodness.
My man's. I bet I'll put it behind Pocono because we haven't had a cup race there, and it'd be unfair to move it any higher. But did you say behind Pocono or ahead of Pocono?
Behind
Pocono. I'll put it there because we haven't had a cup race there yet. But the cup race this year, I promise you, it's going to be a classic.
I hope so.
Calling it now.
Can't wait for Chase Elliott to win by 20 seconds. Instant classic.
Not going to happen. Guess who won the last road course? Not Chase Elliott.
You're right. Oh my goodness, Christopher Bell won because Chase Elliott got wrecked. Oh no! Oh
no! Are you quite done?
Sonoma, C tier. I hate the current layout and I think it's stupid.
Yeah, the current layout kind of sucks.
I'd still put it ahead of Phoenix. Sorry, Tommy.
It's ahead of Phoenix,
but also,
this layout sucks.
No carousel, please.
It's like we took the two most iconic corners of the track and just got rid of them.
I want to do big swoopy thing.
But 90s NASCAR. No. Those were the two best corners.
And they were passing corners too. Those were like the two passing zones on the track. We're like, no, I don't think so.
It was like, and I mean, like everyone loved that camera angle on the exit of, I forget what the corner number is, but the one where they would sweep out, hit the inside curbing, hop over the outside curbing, and just miss that wall. That was like, so that camera view is etched into my mind. I could close my eyes and I could picture any year of cars passing by that camera. And that, like, I love stuff like that. It's just, yeah. You know, Joe, I didn't realize how much it upsets me that we go and we do the carousel now.
We shouldn't have done this.
I forget we do the carousel until
we didn't go there last year. We only did one race on the carousel, but it was so bad. It was, and honestly, the Sonoma races haven't been like barn burners either, just in general. But you took away the best two corners, so you're not in B. You're not average anymore.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I felt like the Sonoma track was fun enough to watch stock cars bumble around on to make up for the fact that the racing wasn't always close. I enjoyed watching cup cars at Sonoma, just watching them drive.
Going through the S's like...
Yeah, literally, they have no idea what those cup cars are in a different planet when they go through the S's. It is hilarious. But yeah. Ahead of Phoenix, but they really nerfed Sonoma with adding the carousel and stuff. Man.
All right. Next one. Talladega.
Dega. I mean, you gotta put it next to Daytona, right? And you gotta.
Does it have a historical significance?
It does, in my opinion. A lot of moments. I mean, that's when we look at history. That's kind of what it is, right? A lot of moments.
I'd still put it
Which
behind Daytona though. It's gonna be back.
it's behind Daytona for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the beginning of Talladega was crazy with the boycott, and you got start finish line. Where's start finish line, Joe?
It's not in the tri-oval.
They're sure not. It ain't. And it ought not to be in the tri-oval. It's dang sure down near turn 1.
That way, Bill France could sell more tickets.
and I'm gonna venture out of the normal lanes that we've been talking about with it, but Talladega's park track. People love going to Talladega. People who aren't NASCAR fans love going to Talladega.
People love going to Michigan too. Can I bump it up?
No, because fans in the stands, Joe.
I hate that, man. I hate it when fans in the stands. Michigan International Speedway has the most campground acreage of any place in the state, so there's a lot to do. Anyways, Texas.
I know what you mean. But there's something to be said about.
No, I was just kidding.
About
it was a
Talladega being. Okay.
Yeah, Party Central, Talladega Boulevard. I get it.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Right.
Here comes our D tier track.
Yeah. So how are we gonna treat this? Because
I just put them both in there. I put the All-Star behind normal Texas.
and I gotta say, if there's anyone who can try and come up with something to make the All-Star race exciting, it's gonna be Eddie Gossage. If there's anyone who's gonna do something stupid enough to make the All-Star race exciting, it's gonna be him. I don't have high hopes, but I'm willing to go into the All-Star race at Texas with an open mind. Joe is rolling his eyes at me.
There we go.
But I'm willing to go into it with an open mind because Eddie Gossage is a promoter. He's not going to let. I mean, I know enough about his racetrack that we all hear. There's no way he doesn't hear it. So part of me hopes that when we go to Texas, there's going to be something crazy going on. The cars are going to have something crazy.
There's no reason the Indy cars should be racing there and have to worry about the PJ1. There's no reason the Indy cars should have to be racing there and worry about the PJ1. Makes me pull my hair out. And then people are like, it's still on the track. No, it's stained on the track, you nincompoop. Like,
oh.
I could go to Michigan right now. I can bet you there's no PJ1 on the track, but it's definitely stained on there. Did you know track temperature changes the grip levels? Oh, here comes Bristol.
Hey, he's here. He made it.
I don't think he's going to get on camera, though. We'll see. Go ahead. Go up there. Oh.
He made it.
There he is. He did it. Anyways, he's not going to go up there. It's probably too warm. Oh, he did it.
Look at him. Look at him go.
Look at him. He's back for all you Bristol fans. Bristol, what are your opinions?
Texas indeed. Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Good job, Bristol.
Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen, A tier.
Yeah.
It's the best road course. It's the best road course.
I think it goes ahead of Atlanta.
I do too.
Ooh,
I was gonna put it ahead of Homestead, but
Joe,
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah, we're on a wavelength right now. You know that? We're on the same one. Watkins Glen again. Another one of those tracks where like, what more can you say?
Even with the bad package, it had good races somehow.
For real.
It's like Homestead, despite it.
And it's a variety. You get the beating and banging, you get the good racing, and then you get the fuel mileage sometimes. It's all sorts of racing at Watkins Glen. And if we're gonna talk about partying and campgrounds, Watkins Glen's got that too.
Got a little bit of everything.
Upstate New York type vibe. It's pretty cool. But Joe.
That does it.
Do you have any changes before we go? Do you have any changes? Are you looking at this and you're like, that's wrong?
No.
I'm pretty happy with it.
I don't think we did wrong.
I'm upset about some of these, but only because they could be so much better. Phoenix, Sonoma, for example.
Sonoma would be in B tier if it wasn't for the carousel.
I agree. And I would put Sonoma somewhere around Dover, Charlotte, Michigan. It would be like top-ish I like how we said we were gonna put Dover back a B tier, but as we went through it, Dover
All of a sudden,
continued.
I don't even know
continued
why,
to the
because
top
I
of
don't
the
even
tier.
like Dover that much. Like, you just convinced me enough.
I psychoanalyzed you, and we kind of did it together, where
Yeah, totally. Dover's second
we just
best B
realized
tier.
that Dover was the 12th best track on the schedule.
Plus, we're only going there once this year, so I think that helps. I really do. I'm gonna, till the day I die, I'm gonna say that. The less times we go to a track, the better it will be. Can't wait for Michigan to be a barn burner this year, and people be like, "Oh, why does Michigan only have one race?"
And Michigan lost its date. Period.
Yeah, like you weren't the same person asking for them to lose it last year.
Ruth.
After Harvick won both the races. I digress. Well, Davey, that's going to do it for this week's exclusive to YouTube. That was loud. I apologize.
Exclusive.
Oh, what
The
is the
one
last?
and only.
Oh, Fake Racers podcast. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast, exclusive to YouTube. Martinsville is this weekend. Make sure you buckle up. You're going to have fun. Friday night Xfinity, Saturday night Cup, under the lights. It's going to be a fun time. So thankful that the Xfinity series is at Martinsville again, too, by the way. Like,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
that's something we haven't talked about enough. They went back for the first time last year in the fall. Harrison Burton won, so that'd be a guy to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I'm intrigued to see what happens between Daniel Hemrick and Noah. Friday night's going to be fun. Saturday night will be a blast because the Cup Series does put on good shows at Martinsville, despite what I currently have etched into my head as bad races. But that does it for us on this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast. Davey, all your links are below, but why don't you tell the folks where they can find out more from?
No, I don't think I will.
Okay. All right, that's fine. And folks, if you want to help support JTN, make sure you go over to our Facebook page. Give us a like over there. Go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter. Both those links in the description below. Check out our friends at Circle Diecast and use code JTN at checkout, just like Davey will be doing in a couple minutes here to purchase.
Should I find a diecast on the podcast? Should we do that, or
sure.
Or do you just want to end it?
How about, hey, you got to follow us on Twitter. You got to follow us on Twitter, and that's where we'll announce it. So
that's where we'll announce it.
And I'll have Davey do a diecast review too. Davey's diecast review, DDR.
And I'm gonna do it my own way. I'm not gonna do any research. I'm not gonna figure out what people want to hear. I'm just gonna talk about the diecast the way I know how, and that's gonna be the diecast review.
I'm excited for it.
Yes.
Look at that. But folks, that's going to do it for us on this week's episode of the Fake Racers podcast. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. The link to this tier maker will also be down in the description below. I will please scroll down. This is Brady Churkin 1, I guess. Made this. Didn't send it to us, but we found it. So thanks to him. You can go give him a follow, I guess, for making it. But you should also follow JTN on Twitter. So bada bing, bada boom. Check out all of Davey's links in the description below. Our friends at Circle B Diecast, also our merch store to buy some more of that awesome JTN merch, which you see Davey wearing. Got a bunch of different cars up there. You got a Mustang, you got a Camaro, you got a Camry, you got the IndyCar, you got the Supra. I mean, there's nothing that you hate. They're all good, and you should just get one. You also
so we need to make a go-kart one.
I'm actually working on merch for another friend right now. So once I finish that, I will get that to you. But folks, thank you so much for watching this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us where we went wrong. Tell us where we went right in the comments below. And we'll see you guys next time.
Good night, everyone.
Or good morning.
Or good morning. Good evening.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
See ya.